नमस्ते दोस्तों, आप सबका स्वागत है आज तक में। मैं हूं अनीता ब्रिट और आज मेरे साथ एक नहीं बट तीन लेजेंड्स हैं। प्लीज वेलकम मनी रत्नम सर, गुलजार सर एंड रहमान सर. हेलो, वेलकम. Firstly, I'm very nervous. तो I hope my questions are fine enough for all three of you all. मुझे start करना है because I rewatched the film part 1. Yes, because since I knew that part 2 is coming so soon, I just wanted to relive the entire moment that I lived a couple of months back. I want to know from all of you all, how does it feel to relive again like I have? Now the part 2 is coming. You have shot it together, part 1 and part 2. How are you feeling right now?
It's been an extension for me.
Yeah.
I mean, they finished part 1, released it, and then worked on part 2's post-production and music and everything. And now we are on close to the release.
Close to the release. Hardly any days for the release. But any nervousness, jitterness?
I think it's good if you're busy, occupied, you don't have time to be nervous.
Nice. That's a nice way of dealing with nervousness. What about you all? You all were also reliving the entire phase?
No, I've been working on 3 months on the background score, on and off. And we went to London to record at the Abbey Road Studios. Then I went to Dubai to record some stuff.
Wow.
So right now actually I'm feeling kind of withdrawal symptoms because I've been working on it, and 5 days before we finished everything.
5 days, just now you've
I mean like tweaks and everything.
Wow.
Finishing touches, Rahman touches.
There are still left, anything left till the last minute?
No.
No? Gulzar sir, आपका क्या कहना है?
जी, मैं थोड़ा सा एक्साइटेड भी हूँ, थोड़ा सा क्यूरियस भी हूँ, थोड़ा सा सिर्फ इंतज़ार में भी हूँ. Working with both these great creative giants once again, and after a long time, so waiting for it. So little anxious.
We all are waiting actually for part 2.
Little anxious to know how people receive it, how people react to it. Could we reach them? Could we make our point? And for a film like this, your expectations are high. Umeed bahut, hope is very big. He has worked so hard on it, and I'm happy that I'm a part of it. And such a huge film, and such a classic thing.
Yeah.
And when I look at the little parts of the visuals which I see, surprises me how every time this master does it. And working with him, this Oscar, habitual of Oscars, at a time make क्या दो ले लेते हैं, तो great thing because तो अच्छा लगता है इनके साथ to work again with these people.
So the first part was, received so much love, received so much appreciation, and did so well at the box office. Were you expecting that, and what are your expectations from PS2 now?
Well, you don't start off with the expectation that it's going to be how big it's going to be. You just want to convey the story well. This is a very loved, classic novel. So it is your responsibility to be able to put it across as convincingly as possible. And when people receive it and accept it, that is a satisfaction. That is really big satisfaction and gives you confidence about PS2.
Right. So, sir, it is a historic film. How do you place the songs, and how important songs play a role in such a huge film, especially a historic film?
We work in a very different way. Sometimes it's just abstract. Sometimes I need some love tunes, and then there was this tribal thing, and some of the sequences I saw made me feel like I need a song here to make it different. So we had taken certain meters from the Tamil literature and done certain rhythmic patterns on the war. So there was no one kind of approach, many approaches to make the soundtrack. And then one song, what we've done was we've taken the romantic song and twisted it around for another situation. Same lyrics, but different tune, different arrangement.
And how difficult is to come up with, songs and lyrics and the background score for a film like this?
It is about storytelling. It's about how can you enhance it and how can you make them feel authentic at the same time, not conventional ideas. And he is master of unconventional ideas.
So would you like to add something?
Gee, only know I wish I could be a part of the part 1 also after doing the part 2. But part 2 was an experience by itself. Especially, as I said, this master has a different way of doing things.
Yeah.
He has his own style of singing. And music, I think, is a compulsory part of his narration. His narratives, if you look through his work also, I mean, it's how it integrates in his narrative.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the beauty of it. And that's his style of working.
And his music always has a recall value. People will
Yes,
still
that's
remember.
his
Yeah,
style of-
that's his style and that's his signature. And that's your signature as well. Whenever you all come up with any song or any music, there is a recall.
And why not? If he has a composer like Rahman with him, why not?
Absolutely. But if we talk about today's music, there is hardly any recall value. There's always what we say. We are facing a crunch with original music. What are your takes on that? Do you think actually we are facing a music crunch and we are still making remake songs and stuff like that? What are your thoughts on that?
You know, I think the core intention of something is art, about storytelling, about changing lives. But the core intention is to make money. What happens is that drives everything. And then the compromise is made. They make the best, what could bring in views, what could bring in, and that has to be there. But that if that is the core, what happens? It kind of cannibalizes the whole thing. So that's one of the reasons I love to work with him, because he takes risks, and for people benefit from that. Because one idea which is different can provoke another from another industry. Oh, that is different. Why are we not doing differently? Sure. And so we need leaders like him. And so I'd love to compliment whatever he does. So
Lovely. Sir, what are your thoughts on this?
I think first of all, it's achievement by itself, another kind of achievement by itself, that an old period storytelling in today's narrative, in today's style. I mean, your narrative is modern.
Yeah.
Your narrative isn't gone bad. Your narrative is new. And keeping the time, stitching the two times together is a great achievement. Similarly, if you put music into it, it's the same thing. The music is of today. It doesn't sound of old time. Yet, his narrative remains of the old classical.
Right.
And that's the beauty of it. And that's a great achievement. That's not a small achievement. That you're talking musically of the past, and yet your music and your sounds are of today. I think that's a great achievement by itself.
It's a balance where we can't overdo things. We can't put a drum and bass drum and snare.
Yeah.
But you should feel like it's that time, but also bring the richness of today's audience, what the expectations are.
Absolutely. Mani sir, but then like this said, you are the main core of the music, where the ideas come from. Where do you
ask them for ideas.
No, but there will be something in your mind before
think-
approaching them, right? What is that process?
I think the basic story is from which everything stems out. That dictates what kind of music you want. Then you sit with Rahman and say, this is the story I'm trying to do. What kind of music do you think we can work for that? Whether, especially for something like PS2.
Correct.
Like Gulzar Saab said, it was a period film. We could have tried to imitate what others have done for a period film.
Yeah.
The way music was scored 40 years back.
Correct.
But he, decided that it should evoke that period, but should be contemporary.
Right.
Should
Relevant for today's.
That you should be able to reach, and that balance was what he's brought in. And then Gulzar Saab comes in, and then it becomes an absolute perfection in that. So it's good. It's very good when you have two huge pillars next to you.
Right. When we talk about a historic drama like this, it's a huge, big budget, plus the lot of effort that has gone behind it. But I'm sure when you're making music also, it must have taken as much time as you must have taken to shoot the film. Please tell me the process. How long did it take to come up with the entire music? Months, years? What was this?
I think we started with Bali. When the Bali, Rahman.
We went to Bali for songwriting. I said, I spoke about this. like we talk about South Indian culture, those kings have gone to Indonesia, Bali, and the traces are there. So I was wondering, I asked him, like, can we go to Bali, see what is the leftovers of that culture which existed in the 9th, 10th century. So we went there, we went to some temples, we saw the art there, we saw the dance there. I think that inspired one of the dance sequence in the first part.
Okay.
And most of the tunes came from that trip, where we were just chilling. I didn't know whether he's going to accept any of the stuff. And he was quiet for at least 4 weeks. Then he said, "Oh, I like this idea." So finally something the trip is worth it.
Right. But who's the biggest taskmaster amongst you all? Who's the biggest taskmaster amongst all? I want to know
I'm
this.
a pleader. I just have to sit and listen to them.
I
that's
think
all.
the worst oppressive command is trust. When you trust someone, the oppression in the mind for the person who's trusted is more. So I'm the oppressed.
Lovely. So tell me, since I saw the action sequence, it's a huge action to shoot. Which has been the most difficult scene to shoot for you in part 1 and part 2?
To be honest, every scene becomes difficult. No, it's a cliche to say that, but it is. What is on paper is easy because you've written it already. Now to go to a shoot and to get the actors in and be able to create something which will elevate it from the script. Sometimes it happens easily, sometimes it's with a lot of difficulty. In this film, it is also, it's period. It's got a lot of elements into it, a lot of variables. You got to have correct costumes, you have to have the animals right, you have to have the hair and the makeup to be perfect.
Correct.
So there are a lot more elements, but the struggle is essentially to create life within a scene. That remains constant.
Right. Well, and who was the most easygoing actor on set? Like, there was they had prepared themselves completely and they had come. They had.
No, I have a problem if you prepare too much also. No.
Okay.
Sometimes we need spontaneity. We need something that will come intrinsically. Sometimes it is good if they do something opposite to what I've said. But if it looks right, it's fantastic. We look for these happy accidents, which will make it believable and which will make it not too choreographed and too sketched out. So it is a combination. We have to work together. I think in every form it has to be done together.
And which actor out of all of them, which were?
I think all of them. Otherwise, I won't be doing my job. I have to get them to. We bring them in very early. This film, for example, because of period and the language, they were all in 6 months earlier. From then we've been working together, working on workshops and readings and things like that. So all of them were very prepared.
Manisha, but a lot of people have a complaint from you that you are making films in South, but you're not making any films in Bollywood. It's been ages that people have seen you doing a Bollywood film. What would you like to say on that?
This is as good a Hindi film as that.
It is, but
Gulzar is there. It's there. I think whatever story demands is where you go. Some are set somewhere and therefore you do it in that language. I think we should be able to do. Today it's such a boon that you can do a film in any language in India and you can reach across, which is fantastic. I think in some way it is bringing so much of us together.
Yes. It's actually brought everyone together, and now I'm very glad to say that we are Indian cinema right now. We are not Bollywood or not any other Tollywood or anything.
High time we gave up this Bollywoods and Tollywoods.
I agree totally, and that is what we have seen a change also. If you see on Wikipedia also, now it's written Indian actor. It's not written South actor.
I was fighting for it for 12 years.
And it's finally here. How do you feel when it feels like we have arrived finally after so many years? What are your thoughts on it?
It's just the beginning. I think it's the beginning of something extraordinary which is going to happen, because everybody's empowered with knowledge,